Welcome to Piece by Piece, a business podcast by Lumbermens. In today's episode, strategies and expectations for 2024. Here's Shawn Montague and Ryan Terpstra.
The point of these conversations is to address topics that a lot of people are thinking about. And maybe they're talking about them, maybe they're not talking about them, maybe they're trying to figure out what their strategies are going to be for the coming year. 2024 is upon us. We've had a ridiculous amount of swings in the last couple of years coming out of COVID, seeing inflation on the rise. This is a year where I think some people have some expectations that I believe I know what's going to happen, and some people are thinking that they're not quite sure what the market is going to look like. With this upon us, what's your outlook for 2024?
Yeah, I think you hit it on the head when you said post-COVID. We entered post-COVID last year. Seasonality is more relevant in our business now than it has been. We are still facing some headwinds in 2024, but we're facing some tailwinds. We have some tailwinds coming up as well. One of the things that's working for us right now is rates are starting to come down a little bit. So the rate-sensitive buyer is jumping back into the market. That's really good. That's really good for all of us. So new home construction should continue to do well in 2024. There's also a national housing shortage. Like, macroeconomics don't lie, and there's a national housing shortage. It's going to be that way for quite some time. So the governor of that is the labor pool and rates. And so when we see rates start to come down, that supports some growth in that area. The labor pool will still always govern, how fast a house can be built, how many houses can be built. So that's one piece of our business. Another piece of our business in this industry is the R&R segment. The R&R segment looks good. Things are looking up. Most of all the dealers that I talk to, most all builders that I talk to, they have business walking into 2024. No one is sitting around twiddling their thumbs looking for work. So that's good. I think the first half of 2024 for us right now looks okay. Walking into the back half of 2024, you just don't know. But we didn't know what that was going to be at the start of 2023 either. There were just a lot of people that were very pessimistic about what was going to happen in 2023. And it wasn't like what we saw in 22, but it was still a good year. And so we feel good about where we're headed.
Yeah, you think about lessons learned. Everyone, feels good when they have a strong start to the year.
Yeah.
But hope is not a strategy. Like, I hope it will still remain good for us at the back end of 2024. So when you think about strategy, coming off a year like 2023, what kind of strategic things can distributors, dealers, people in our industry, what kind of strategic elements can they employ to make sure they're successful in the back end of the year?
Yeah, it's easy to sit back and say, find a way to win. And the message is that, right? Find a way to win. But I think as a leader in this industry, you just hit it on the head. What specific things, what specific action items can you deploy to make sure that you are dictating your success and not the market? It's really infuriating sometimes when we hear people say the market's good, the market's bad, and an economist is the one that's dictating our results. I personally don't subscribe to that, right? I want me and my group to dictate our results. So implementing strategy is part of that formula. One of the things that I think is really, really important walking into 24 is finding a way to create win-win scenarios between the people that are involved in your business. So for us, right, as a wholesale distributor, that includes the customer, and that includes the vendor or manufacturer partner. So bringing the vendor and manufacturer partner into the equation and working directly with the customer on some sort of strategic way to grow, share, create these win-win-win scenarios. That's what we're doing right now. That's what we've spent the last 3 months focusing on. And that's what we'll spend the next few months focusing on. So I won't give away all the secrets, but I will tell you that for us, and that looks different, Ryan, that looks different by customer. It looks different by whoever your target audience is. Whoever's the stakeholder in that formula, it looks totally different. And so we get together with the people that are involved, and we kind of author up the strategy together. There's some specific things we're doing, but that is kind of that is what is driving our execution right now.
Yeah. For people that are listening to this and maybe they're well versed in how the building materials industry works, maybe they're like myself. When I got in here, I had a lot to learn just about how things got from point A to point B and how those relationships are being built. Why is what Lumbermen's is doing different? Could you give us just a quick like kind of historyonomics of like how the industry moves forward and why what we're doing is a little different in terms of, you talk about bringing those parties in.
Yeah.
You know, we're in the middle a lot between those two. Like how are we bridging those gaps, and why do those gaps need to be bridged?
There's a couple different things to really talk about with that, and I could start just with like our fundamental North Star, if you will, because it's important to outline this for the audience to just understand how do we go to market? Why do we go to market this way? We expect great things while also caring for people, okay? And what does that mean? And who are those people, right? Because internally, we expect great results out of one another while also caring for our employee owners, right? Our salespeople, our delivery drivers, the people pulling the orders, our corporate support team. You know, we expect great results out of that group, all those people, all 600 employee owners, but we have to intentionally care for those people too. We do the same thing with our vendors, our manufacturer partners. We expect great things from them in return to what we'll deliver, but we have to care about them. So when we walk into conversations, I just had one yesterday with a partner of ours, and it wasn't about how can I create the best scenario for me and for Lumbermen's. It was, how do we work through this together and create a scenario that's good for both of us? So caring for those people. And I think one of the things that it gets lost in our strategy, but if we ever stopped doing it, you would know we stopped doing it, which is caring for our customers. We are tenacious about trying to find a way to advocate for our customers, say yes for our customers, and care for them. Understand their business, understand the people involved in their business. And we also want to help them be successful. So I think the second part to answer that is the tactical side, which is I want to help you be successful with the things that you buy from us. And that doesn't just start and end with me or you. We have, if you were to call up any outside salesperson today, right now, they may not be able to articulate it the exact same way, but they fundamentally believe that we want to help our customers be successful with the things that they buy from us, because if they're not, we are the ones that are affected by that. And if they are successful, we are also the ones that are affected by that.
So when I got into the industry, I wanted to learn as much as I could. I think one of the cool things about our industry is that there's a lot of tradition. There's a lot of kind of old school mentality. There's still a lot of deals made, maybe on a napkin or a yellow sheet of paper or just through the handshake. And yet we're also pushing forward with technology and things like that. How do you view the industry, having been in it for a while, and like as we're moving forward, like what kind of things are you seeing that might, be shifts, but also what things are you telling your sales team, like these are still core values to us because these are still core elements of what everybody's about out there?
It's certainly not, you're right, by the way, but it's not an either or, right? It's not a, you have to adapt to this or this is going to happen. And it's also not a, you can't adapt to this or this is going to happen. It's both. It's both. You have to continue to understand that this is a relationship business, always has been, and I think always will be. And even, when you think about things like AI, artificial intelligence, and how that's changing a bit of our industry, and we're just getting started with that. 10 years from now, it's going to look a lot different. We have to progressively think about how we can adapt. In the last 5 years in our industry, digital online platforms where you can place orders, view inventory, track your delivery, pay your bills, that's totally transformed our industry. And in fact, we launched one, I think it was 3 years ago. We thought it was great, and it was, but it's already outdated. And so now we're working on a new one that's going to be launched in 2024. But it's both. And I think to answer your question too, just around how do we keep our sales team engaged and understanding that is the leaders, myself and others, we have to continue to remain customer facing. I think if we spend too much time off the road, too much time not in front of customers, we will lose sight of the things that you just said.
You think that's too easy because of, do you think that is a temptation that has to be really mindfully thought of because it's so easy to just send that text and say, I checked in?
Yeah, we're growing, we're getting bigger. I have a regional sales leader who, used to manage a team of 4 or 5, and now he's managed a team of 8 or 9. And you get pulled in different directions. You get stretched thin. We're opening a location in Minnesota. Lumbermen's is growing. There's an expansion plan. There's a growth plan for the next 5 years. So the bigger we get, the easier it will be to not be customer facing. Because we know that, and because we're aware of that, we are not going to let it happen where we are disconnected from what the customer needs.
Talking about 2024, as we just kind of look ahead to this year, we talk about the challenges, talk about strategy. Is there something that excites you about this coming year when it comes to planning for how we're going to be effective in the market, but just anything in general about, besides just like new year, new me, let's go? What are you looking forward to? And what are you hearing industry-wise that gets you excited about 2024?
Well, first, we're opening a new location in Minneapolis, Minnesota. That's exciting for us. Mm-hmm. So when I think about what are these big 2024 objectives for us, it's to enter a new market and be who we are, help introduce a new customer base to the things that we do, and the fabric of who Lumbermen's is. So that's exciting. That's a challenge, by the way. I think that there is, when I hear a lot of things that are out there, there's talking to people about what's your forecast for 2024. There's nobody who is really overly excited about 24 and the business that it could bring. They're really looking ahead to 25 and 26 because there is a national housing shortage. Things are going to continue to remain strong for our industry. Storm activity is real. So to answer your question, when I hear people maybe not as excited as I am, that excites me because I think it creates opportunities. We can win with our customers. We can win with our vendors. And we're continuing to put our foot on the gas pedal. We're continuing to add strategic initiatives. We continue to be downstream, as I call it. And what that means is we are adding support and we're adding sales team that is going to support our customers with their customers. We have your traditional outside sales rep here at Lumbermen's, but we continue to surround them with people that are connected to the builder, connected to the contractor and installer with proper installation techniques. We're trying to drive specification with the A&D community, getting closer to general contractors, and we're doing all that in an effort to support our dealer, to make sure that our dealer is successful with the things that they buy from us. So 2024 is exciting. We got a lot of great things happening.
Thanks for tuning in. In future episodes, we'll talk about developing and leading a sales team across different markets, as well as growing customer relationships. This has been Piece by Piece, a business podcast by Lumbermens.